Have you ever judged someone without knowing the full story behind their struggles? In the gleaming headquarters of Everett Marketing Group in downtown Chicago, Graham Everett sits alone in his corner office as the evening shadows lengthen across the city skyline. The 38-year-old CEO studies Lauren Hayes' performance evaluation with a furrowed brow, the manila folder open before him like a prosecutor's case file. His expensive fountain pen hovers over the recommendation for termination, the weight of the decision palpable in the silence of his office. Fourth late arrival this month. Missed the Hartman conference call. Deadline extension requested on the quarterly reports. Graham murmurs to himself, cataloguing the evidence of declining performance. 6 years of building his company into an industry leader has taught him that difficult decisions are necessary, even when they involve letting people go. Especially when they involve letting people go. The company couldn't afford to carry underperforming staff, not with the Anderson account hanging in the balance. Graham glances at a framed photo on his desk, himself at the ribbon cutting. Of their new headquarters, standing alone amidst a sea of applauding employees. Success had come at a personal cost, but he had made his choices long ago. 20 miles away, in a modest 2-bedroom apartment in a working-class neighborhood, Lauren Hayes helps a bright-eyed boy with his math homework at a small kitchen table, cluttered with schoolbooks and half-finished dinner plates. Dark circles shadow her eyes, but her smile remains genuine as she guides him through fraction problems. "You're getting it, Caleb," she encourages, brushing his dark hair from his forehead in a gesture of affection. "See how you can simplify 3/6 to 1/2. Just like we practiced." The boy's small face lights up with the triumph of understanding. "I get it now, Ms. Peterson will be so impressed tomorrow." Lauren glances anxiously at the clock on the microwave. Another late night, another morning she'll struggle to arrive on time. Another mark against her in Mr. Everett's meticulous records. "Time for bed, buddy. Big day tomorrow?" "Will you be at my presentation?" Caleb asks, hope brightening his features. Lauren's heart constricts. The presentation coincides exactly with her meeting with Graham Everett, the one she suspects might end with her dismissal. I'll do my very best, I promise." 2 lives connected by more than just an employment contract, but neither yet knows how deeply their stories intertwine, nor how tomorrow's scheduled termination meeting will alter both their futures forever. Graham Everett built his marketing empire from nothing. The son of a factory worker and a nurse, he had worked his way through college, graduated with honors, and climbed the corporate ladder with singular determination before launching his own firm at 29. Known for his brilliant strategies and unwavering standards, his professional reputation was impeccable. His personal life, however, remained carefully guarded behind his office door. 6 years earlier, Graham's brief marriage to Eliza Chambers, a talented graphic designer he'd met through work, ended abruptly when she vanished from their lakeside home, taking their newborn son with her. The divorce papers arrived by courier 3 weeks later. She never returned his desperate calls. The private investigator he hired tracked her to Seattle, then lost the trail. Eventually, Graham stopped looking, burying himself in work, transforming personal heartbreak into professional success, letting the pain calcify into silence. Now, in the company's glass-walled conference room, Graham convenes with his executive team for their weekly performance review. "Lauren Hayes' metrics have been declining for months," states Barbara Chen, the HR director, sliding a folder across the polished conference table. 3 missed client meetings this quarter, reports submitted past deadline, declining attention to detail. Her punctuality issues are becoming noticeable to clients. Graham reviews the documentation carefully. When Lauren first joined the company 4 years ago, her work had been exemplary, organized, attentive, reliable. The sudden downward trend troubles him. He believes in second chances, but the company's reputation depends on excellence. "Did anyone conduct a performance improvement discussion?" Graham asks, ever methodical. 2 months ago, Barbara confirms. "There was temporary improvement, but she's regressing again." Marcus Weber, the chief operating officer, adds his perspective. "She's been taking more personal calls during office hours, leaving exactly at 5 most days, requesting schedule accommodations. that disrupt team workflow. We need someone more dependable in that position, concludes Jessica Tanner, his Vice President of Client Relations. The Anderson presentation next month is too important to risk. We can't afford any administrative hiccups. Graham nods, weighing the evidence against his own observations. Lauren had always been pleasant and hard-working, if increasingly reserved over the past year. He had noticed her hurrying from the building each evening while others stayed. Late, perhaps the position no longer suited her priorities. Schedule the termination meeting for tomorrow morning, he decides. Have her replacement ready by next week. We'll offer the standard severance package. That evening, Lauren rushes through rush-hour traffic, drumming anxious fingers on the steering wheel as she calls the after-school program for the third time. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Martinez, and I'm stuck in traffic from a downtown accident. I'll be there in 15 minutes. It's fine, Lauren, the woman assures her. Caleb's helping me sort art supplies. He's a good kid. Lauren finally arrives, apologizing profusely for being late again. Mrs. Martinez waves away her concern, but Lauren notices the woman's glance at her watch. Too many late pickups might jeopardize Caleb's spot in the affordable after-school program, something they desperately needed with her work schedule. At home, she moves through their familiar routine: homework review, dinner preparation, bath. Time, bedtime story, before finally opening her laptop at the kitchen table. As Caleb sleeps down the hall, she works on a detailed proposal about employee retention strategies for working parents, something she's been developing in her scarce free time, hoping it might eventually secure her a position with more flexible hours. Her eyes drift to the framed photo beside her computer, herself and Caleb at his kindergarten graduation last year, his gap-toothed smile radiating pride. Beside it stands another frame, this one holding a photo of a smiling blonde woman with her arm around a younger Lauren at college graduation, Eliza, her best friend, gone nearly 4 years now. Just need to hold on a little longer, she whispers, rubbing her tired eyes. We can make this work. I promised her we would. Graham works late into the evening, the office empty and quiet except for the hum of the air conditioning and the occasional ping of incoming emails. His secretary had left hours ago, along with most of the staff. This was his preferred time, when the phone stopped ringing and he could focus without interruption. As he sifts through his cluttered inbox, deleting and archiving messages, he notices something unusual: an email from Lauren addressed to someone named Mr. Thornton, but somehow mistakenly forwarded to the company account rather than sent directly. Professional instinct tells him to delete it immediately, but the subject line catches his attention. Regarding Caleb Hayes, absence from parent-teacher. Conference. His cursor hovers over the delete button, but curiosity wins. He opens the message. Dear Mr. Thornton, Lauren wrote, I apologize for missing Caleb's parent-teacher conference again. An unavoidable work commitment arose. At the last minute, I'm trying my best to maintain a stable work schedule so Caleb doesn't have to change schools mid-year, as consistency is so important for him. I know I'm not his biological mother, but I promised my dear friend I would raise him as my own when she passed away. And I will keep that promise no matter what sacrifices it requires. Would it be possible to reschedule for next Tuesday after 5:30 p.m.? Thank you for your understanding. Graham leans back in his chair, surprised. Lauren had a child who wasn't biologically hers. She had never mentioned being a mother, let alone a guardian. This explained the rushed departures, the occasional distracted demeanor during late afternoon meetings, the declined invitations to company social events. His curiosity piqued. Graham accesses Lauren's personnel file, discovering something even more unexpected. She graduated summa cum laude with a degree in human resources management from Northwestern University. Her initial application included glowing recommendations from professors and a previous employer. Further searching through old emails reveals several detailed policy improvement proposals she had submitted over the years, ideas that somehow never made it to any important meetings or implementation discussions. She has excellent strategic insights, notes her previous supervisor in an evaluation from 2 years ago, but always has to rush home at 5 sharp. Great potential if she could focus more on career advancement. Graham feels the first twinge of doubt about tomorrow's termination. Had they misjudged her declining performance as lack of commitment, rather than the struggles of a single parent? Had her potential contributions been overlooked because she couldn't participate in the informal evening strategy sessions where many decisions really took shape? That evening, Lauren accidentally leaves her purse in the conference room after a last-minute project meeting that ran late. As Graham picks it up, intending to place it in her desk drawer for safekeeping, a photograph slips out. A school portrait of a young boy with dark hair and serious eyes, holding a handmade sign, "Congrats on your HR certificate, Mom." On the back, childish handwriting reads, "Thank you for choosing me, even though I'm not yours, love, Caleb." Graham freezes, a jolt of recognition coursing through him. The boy's eyes, the curve of his smile, the dimple in his left cheek when he grins, hauntingly familiar reflections of his own childhood photographs. Even the slight tilt of his head reminds Graham of his own school portraits from decades. How else it couldn't be? It was impossible. Yet the resemblance may... Graham carefully returns the photo to Lauren's purse, his hand suddenly unsteady. Tomorrow's meeting just became far more complicated than a simple termination. Graham can't sleep. The boy's face haunts him, those eyes so similar to his own, to his father's, to the generations of Everett men captured in family photographs. He spends the night researching Lauren's background on his home computer, piecing together a puzzle he never knew existed. Lauren Hayes and Eliza Chambers had been roommates at Northwestern, best friends who remained close after graduation. When Graham and Eliza divorced, when Eliza disappeared with their newborn son, she had apparently reached out to Lauren, not him. Hospital records confirm Eliza passed away from aggressive pancreatic cancer 3 years after leaving, around the time Lauren applied for a position at Everett Marketing. The timeline aligns perfectly with Lauren's arrival at his company. Caleb's approximate age matches exactly with the son Graham never knew. "It can't be coincidence," Graham whispers to the empty room. "She sought out employment at my company specifically. But why? To keep an eye on him, to ensure financial stability for the boy, or perhaps to eventually reveal the truth." The questions multiply, keeping him awake until dawn breaks over Chicago's skyline. When Caleb visits the office during a Bring Your Child to Work Day the following week, an event Graham had always avoided until now, he watches from a distance, heart pounding against his ribs. The boy moves with animated enthusiasm, asking questions about the graphic design department's computers, while Lauren guides him through the office. Graham notices how she keeps a protective hand on his shoulder, how her eyes constantly track his movements with maternal vigilance. Graham secretly retrieves the boy's discarded water bottle after Caleb tours the marketing department, securing it in a plastic bag with trembling hands. The DNA testing service promises results within 72 hours for an expedited fee. 3 agonizing days later, Graham receives the notification on his phone during a budget meeting. Excusing himself abruptly, he retreats to his office, locking the door before opening the email. His hands tremble as he reads, "Probability of paternity 99%. Graham sinks into his chair, overwhelmed by a tempest of emotions. Anger at being kept in the dark for years, gratitude that his son was loved and cared for by someone who clearly adored him, guilt for his absence in the boy's life, and the devastating realization of all the milestones he's missed. First steps, first words, first day of school. All gone. The following afternoon, Graham cancels his meetings and follows Caleb to his elementary school, watching from his parked car as the children gather in the outdoor amphitheater for what appears to be a special presentation. Parents cluster on folding chairs, many holding flowers or small gifts, but Lauren is noticeably absent. She's in a budget planning meeting Graham had specifically scheduled. From his distant vantage point, Graham watches as Caleb stands confidently before his classmates for what appears to be a Family Appreciation Day speech. "Lauren isn't the mom who gave birth to me. She tells me that another mom chose her to take care of me when I was still little, but she's the only mom I remember, the only one who's been there. Every day I was scared, tired, or needed a hug. She works really hard at a big company, downtown, so I can have everything I need, like my soccer uniform and my science club fees. Even when she's super tired from work, she never misses reading time or helping with my homework. That's what makes someone a real parent, being there every single day, not just when it's easy. Caleb holds up a large portrait he's drawn of himself and Lauren in front of their apartment building, stick figures with enormous smiles holding hands. Several parents dab at tears, applauding enthusiastically when he finishes. As Caleb turns to return to his seat, Graham notices something that makes his breath catch, a distinctive birthmark behind the boy's ear, identical to his own. An inherited family trait that passes through the Everett male line, generation after generation. Seeing it removes any lingering doubt from Graham's mind. That night, Graham abandons his termination plans entirely. Instead, he spends hours scrolling through Lauren's public social media accounts, watching years of Caleb's growth captured in photos and videos, first wobbly steps, preschool art projects, lost teeth, t-ball games, Halloween costumes, Christmas mornings, treasured moments he can never reclaim. In one video, 4-year-old Caleb blows out birthday candles while Lauren cheers him on. "Make a wish, buddy," her voice encourages from behind the camera. The boy squeezes his eyes shut in concentration before extinguishing the flames with one determined breath. The gathered children applaud while Lauren asks, "What did you wish for?" Caleb's answer is clear and immediate. "I can't tell, or it won't come true." But the wistful glance he gives to a friend's father in the background speaks volumes. Graham closes his laptop, a decision crystallizing in his mind. Tomorrow's meeting with Lauren would happen, but with an entirely different purpose than originally planned. The following morning, Lauren enters Graham's office expecting to be fired. She's prepared her desk, discreetly removing personal items the previous evening. She's updated her resume until 2 a.m., rehearsed her remarks, and steeled herself for the financial uncertainty ahead. Instead, she finds Graham unusually contemplative, no termination papers in sight on his immaculate desk. "Please sit down, Lauren," he says, his tone gentler than she's ever heard it. She perches nervously on the edge of the visitor's chair, hands clasped tightly in her lap to hide their trembling. "Mr. Everett, I know my performance has been— Your performance has been declining, Lauren," he interrupts carefully. "I need to understand why before we discuss next steps." Lauren straightens her posture, determined to leave with dignity. "I understand your concerns and I take full responsibility. My work has suffered recently because of—" She hesitates, then decides on honesty. "Because of personal obligations that have become increasingly demanding." "Your son," Graham states simply. Lauren freezes. "How do you know about Caleb?" "I saw the photograph that fell from your purse and the misdirected email to his teacher." Graham pauses. "I'm curious, though. Before we discuss your future with the company, I'd like to know more about your background. Why, your file mentions a degree in human resources management. Thrown off balance by this unexpected direction." Lauren nods. "Yes, from Northwestern. I specialized in organizational development and retention strategies. Then why are you working as an administrative assistant?" Lauren hesitates before answering. "When I applied here, I needed job security and reliable hours immediately. The HR position required evening commitments for continuing education that I couldn't manage as a single parent. The administrative role offered stability while I got established." She reaches into her portfolio and pulls out a folder, revealing a comprehensive proposal. "I've been developing this on my own time. It's a plan to restructure our HR policies that could reduce operational costs by 15% while improving employee retention, particularly for working parents and caregivers. I've been researching this for months." Graham reviews the meticulous analysis, genuinely impressed by the depth of understanding and creative solutions. The proposal addresses precisely the challenges facing their rapidly growing company. High turnover rates, inconsistent knowledge transfer, recruitment costs, with practical implementable solutions. "Why haven't you ever mentioned this in management meetings?" he asks, flipping through the detailed charts and implementation timelines. Because I'm just an administrative assistant, she answers simply. No one asks for my ideas in those settings. And honestly, I couldn't risk staying late for strategic sessions. Caleb needs me home for dinner and homework. Single parenting doesn't leave much room for career advancement opportunities that happen after hours. Graham sees her clearly, for the first time, not just as an assistant struggling with work-life balance, but as a talented professional whose potential had been overlooked because of circumstances he never bothered to understand or accommodate. Tell me about Caleb, Graham says suddenly, setting the proposal aside. Lauren stiffens, protective instinct immediately visible in her posture. What about him? How old is he now? 7. Yes, she answers cautiously. He's 7. Born April 16th. He's in 2nd grade, and he's not your biological son. This isn't a question. No, he's my best friend's son. She passed away from cancer when he was 3. I promised to raise him. Your best friend, Graham says, quietly. Eliza Chambers, later Eliza Everett. Lauren's eyes widen in shock, color draining from her face. How did you? I'm his father, Lauren. The truth hangs between them like a physical presence. Lauren trembles, tears filling her eyes as years of careful secret-keeping crumble in an instant. I didn't, she begins, her voice barely audible. I didn't know how to tell you. Eliza made me promise to keep him safe, to give him stability. After everything fell apart between you two, she was afraid. That I'd take him away, Graham finishes, no accusation in his tone. Lauren nods, unable to speak. Why did you come to work for me? Graham asks. Was it to watch me? To judge whether I should know my son? No. Lauren's response is immediate and fierce. I needed a job with good health insurance and stability after Eliza died. I had medical bills, a child to support suddenly. Your company had an opening that matched my basic qualifications. So I never planned to stay long-term. I thought I'd work here briefly, save money, then find something elsewhere before you ever connected the dots. But you stayed. For 4 years. The benefits were good. Caleb loved his school. And... She hesitates. You never seemed to notice us, and you were always focused on the next acquisition, the next big client. We became invisible, just part of the background of your company. It seemed safer that way. You've raised my son for 4 years, Graham says, his voice thick with emotion, while working 20 feet from my office, never saying a word. He's my whole world, Lauren whispers. Please don't. Graham raises his hand gently. I'm not going to separate you. I would never do that to Caleb. But I do want to know my son. And I think this company needs your talents. In a much larger role than administrative assistant, Lauren stares at him, confusion replacing fear. What are you saying? I'm saying we both lost years with Eliza's son. I don't want to lose any more, and I think we need to find a way forward that honors what's best for Caleb. And my job has... Graham picks up her proposal. This is exceptional work, but we need precisely this perspective in our leadership team. I'd like to offer you the position of Director of Human Resources, implementing these policies company-wide. The role comes with flexible hours, increased compensation, and the authority to actually make these changes happen. Is this... Lauren chooses her words carefully. Is this because of Caleb? Because if it is, it's because you're the most qualified person for a job we desperately need filled, Graham interrupts. The fact that you've managed to develop this comprehensive strategy while raising a child alone and working full-time only confirms your exceptional ability. The fact that the child happens to be my son is a separate issue we need to address as parents, not as employer and employee. Lauren brushes away tears, overwhelmed by the sudden shift from expected termination to unexpected opportunity, and the collapse of the careful walls she's built around their lives. What happens now? She asks softly. Now, Graham says, we take this one step at a time, for Caleb's sake. 3 months later, Lauren stands in her new corner office watching the Chicago skyline glitter in the afternoon sun. The nameplate on her door reads, Lauren Hayes, Director of Human Resources. Her innovative retention strategy is already showing promising results with employee satisfaction, scores rising and turnover decreasing across departments. Her workspace reflects her dual life, professional certificates and industry awards now displayed alongside Caleb's framed artwork. Her schedule, while still demanding, now accommodates school pickup 3 days a week. The company's new Family First flexible scheduling pilot program, her initiative, has already attracted positive industry attention and improved retention of key staff members with caregiving responsibilities. In the boardroom down the hall, Graham presents the quarterly results to the executive team. As you can see from the metrics, Lauren's approach to addressing work-life integration has reduced turnover by 22% in just 1 quarter. The pilot program costs are already offset by decreased recruitment and training expenses. He highlights a chart showing rising productivity numbers. Lauren's approach focuses on understanding what employees truly need to thrive, because she's lived those challenges herself. Sometimes the greatest insights come from perspectives we haven't traditionally included in leadership discussions. View. Board members nod approvingly at the improved metrics. One comments, promoting from within was clearly the right decision here. Fresh eyes on old problems. After the meeting, Barbara Chen, the HR director who once recommended Lauren's termination, stops by her office. The parent resource group you started is gaining traction. We're up to 30 members now. They're asking if you'll speak at the next meeting. Lauren smiles, the irony not lost on her. I'd be happy to. It's making a difference already. Later that evening, Graham joins Lauren and Caleb for dinner in their apartment, now a weekly tradition as they build their unusual family bond. The relationship between father and son is still evolving. Caleb knows Graham is his biological father now, but the connection is developing slowly, thoughtfully, with Lauren's steady guidance. Mom got an award today, Caleb announces proudly, showing Graham the recognition certificate from the company's leadership team. For her great ideas about helping people with kids, your mom is extraordinarily talented, Graham agrees, catching Lauren's smile across the table. I wish I'd realized it sooner. Are you coming to my science fair on Saturday? Caleb asks Graham, the question still tentative, testing these new waters. I wouldn't miss it, Graham promises. I've already cleared my calendar. After Caleb goes to bed, Lauren and Graham sit at her small kitchen table, sharing the quiet moment. That has become their time to coordinate and connect. He asked if you could help with his rocket design, Lauren mentions. That's new, he's starting to reach out more. I noticed, Graham says. I'll bring some materials next time. My father helped me build one when I was about his age. You're good with him, Lauren acknowledges. Patient. He needs that. I'm trying to make up for lost time without pushing too hard, Graham admits. It's challenging, knowing I missed so much. We can't change the past, Lauren says softly. Eliza made her choices for reasons that made sense to her at the time. All we can do now is move forward. At Caleb's science fair that weekend, both Lauren and Graham stand proudly as he presents his project to the judges. As Caleb explains his hypothesis with enthusiasm, Graham whispers to Lauren, "Thank you for being there when I couldn't be, for giving him stability and love when he needed it most." Lauren watches the son and father together, their matching expressions of concentration, the same crinkle around their eyes when they smile. "Family isn't about DNA," she responds quietly. "It's about showing up every day. Something you're learning now is he has your values," Graham observes. "Your kindness, your determination, those aren't genetic traits. And your analytical mind," Lauren adds, "your curiosity. Some things run deeper than nurture." As they stand applauding when Caleb receives second place, Graham reflects on how close he came to losing them both through a simple misunderstanding, and his own narrow perspective of what constitutes performance and value. Sometimes what we mistake for weakness in others is actually their greatest strength, he thinks, watching Lauren embrace Caleb with fierce pride. And sometimes the family we need finds us in the most unexpected places. After the ceremony, they celebrate at Caleb's favorite pizza restaurant. As Caleb chatters excitedly about his project, Graham notices the easy rhythm Lauren has with him, the profound connection built through thousands of ordinary moments strung together over years. It strikes him that he's not just getting to know his son, he's learning how to be a parent from Lauren, who chose this role and embraced it with complete devotion. There's a different kind of strength in that choice, one he's only beginning to understand. The greatest gifts arrive in packages we don't expect to open. And sometimes the people we nearly push away are the very ones who hold the missing pieces of our hearts. As they walk together toward the parking lot, Caleb between them, Graham realizes that family isn't something you simply have. It's something you build choice by choice, day by day. And though they've started this journey later than most, the foundation they're creating might be stronger for having been so carefully considered.